Nice to have you back with us. Bill Douglas alongside. Mark Van Dale is an overpowering kind of bowler, and first time on TSN, and I'm just wondering if that's something we should look for, a little bit more of that kind of style.
And it's hard to say. There's a lot of these players, as you said in the opening, there's a lot of rookies. I haven't seen them play before, but one thing about Mark, he was very consistent on the pocket, and he got great pin reaction between speed and the amount of turn he had on the ball. He broke up a lot of potential splits, performed very well.
There are 4 first-timers who we're going to see here in week 2.
Edmonton's Mark Johnstone is the number 3 seed, a 2-time C5 gold medalist with 2 perfect games. Mark has appeared in 7 national finals in a 14-year career. Aaron Alblas of Winnipeg has a gold medal in FivePin national finals. This 22-year-old averaged .267 to win the Manitoba Provincials. Bobby Torraville of Toronto is making his first appearance at the adult national level. A YBC gold medalist in 2002, Bobby's no stranger to match play. Stephen Peter is the youngest competitor in the field. He won a gold medal in the 2007 C5 Nationals in his first year after graduating from YBC.
So you can see the resume for all the players is very impressive. Lots of team play, individual play, tournament play right across the country, but they have never been on TV. So what's the difference?
It's one game. There's no real warm-ups. You don't get used to the lanes as quickly. It's all about making good shots, but also being able to make adjustments very quickly. Don't make any mistakes.
And one of these 4, of course, will become our second semi-finalist. $25,000 is total prize money. If you should win it all, you'll take home $10,000. It's week 2, men's 5-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championships, and we'll get it going when we come back. Our opening game on the second week of men's 5-pin play features Mark Johnstone of Edmonton and Aaron Alblas from Winnipeg. And Johnstone, who is the current Canadian National Open champion, has 2 strikes out. And he got away with it.
Well, did he ever? Little slip at the foul line, but he kept that one on track. See where he goes here. Just at the end, put his heel down a little bit early.
But you know, it's not unlike other sports. I mean, you think about golf. I mean, you can take that club back and you can twirl it like a baton. It's wherever you release or where you hit. And in his case, his release point was okay and the stumble came after.
It was exactly correct.
Nice for Aaron Alblas out of Winnipeg. He had the open in the first and now comes back with 2 strikes.
Nice smooth approach, really low controlled backswing. Gets it out on the lane. That one crossed over. Catches the left-hand pocket. Just a little on the side. Got away with one there.
Now Aaron is a national champion as well. In 2007, he won the national championship in the mixed team.
Coached by his father, Jack. Looking on from the audience.
As we said before, you know, this is different for them. Here's a young man who isn't that long out of the youth ranks, now stepping into onto the men's lane, as it were, and pressure's a little bit more. I think you're facing different kinds of bowlers, different temperaments. I find there's sometimes an intimidation factor also that comes when you move up.
And out here, you're all on your own. Both these players more used to the team environment where you've got 4 or 5 other players on your team plus a coach. Little slip at the foul line there as well. Slid that one by. It'll be a second open frame for Aaron.
So obviously angry with himself because he had the open, puts back-to-back strikes, and now an open for 91 through 4.
Mark Johnstone off to a great start. Front three in this game. Certainly no stranger to a lot of strikes. He's had 2 perfect games, one in 2006, another one back in 2007. That time he was solid at the foul line, but the ball never moved at all. Right on the nose, drove the head pin straight back.
Talk to me about his style, because he just seems to get very, very low. There's that ball, when it's perfectly thrown, almost makes no sound.
Right, the trajectory is very flat. He gets down low to the foul line. Very little backswing. You can see the ball's actually behind the foul line almost when he lets it go, but great follow through.
And he'll have his first open. And so it's 117 through 4 for Mark Johnstone, as he has the 26-pin lead.
See Mark making sure that the bowling ball's not picking up any oil that'll affect his grip on it. They'll clean it off after every shot.
Didn't come off the wall for him.
Now he was looking for a string pull on that one. Left hand pocket, and he drives the 3-pin up, over, and around the corner pin. And the way that the head pin and the 3-pin react is all about the angle that the ball hits into the pocket with. That one was a little maybe steeper angle, and he drove them both sideways.
But an opening here for Aaron Alblas from Winnipeg. He bowls out of the Dakota lanes. He works as a customer clerk for the Manitoba Liquor Control Commission. Yes, we'll toast that with a strike.
Big break here. The ball starts to hook and just gets back to the head pin, but the angle the ball's entering the pocket drives the head pin and the 3-pin to that left corner pin. Early break, take advantage. That's the big thing now for Aaron.
Dropped it.
Yeah, you can hear that one hit the lane. He didn't get it out on the lane. He's mad at himself for that one.
He bounced. I just don't want to get into too much of a philosophical discussion here, but you mentioned about the strings, and I grew up playing without the strings game. When my YBC days, years and years and years ago. There's still people who argue that the strings made it easier.
And there's arguments both ways. In the days of free fall, you got different kind of reactions off the sidewall, off back cushions. So there was still lots of breaks, but the game has changed a little bit. The younger players, for the most part, are throwing the ball a little bit harder, a little bit more stuff on it. In the free fall days, it was all about control, speed control, angle control to the pocket, because the pins would bounce around all over the place. I don't think there's a great deal of difference if we checked averages over the years between free fall and string machine.
Alblas with the open after the strike in 5, so he's 121 through 6. And now Mark Johnstone from Edmonton. He's a member of the Bowling Proprietors of Canada, owning Collingwood Lanes in Edmonton, and he has a spare up in 5, and he now has a strike in 6. Boy, that one came down from the clouds to clobber that right corner.
He's getting great pin reaction. Great approach, though. He's so smooth at the foul line.
Ooh.
That was a 3-pin up high off the wall.
Just rained down.
Adds to his lead through 6 frames. hand pocket thin, back up moving into the pocket. Again, great reaction. 2 in a row.
And so now Aaron Alblas try to get something going with the open up in 6. And you know, there's again, you look at his card. He has the open, couple of strikes, snaps it with an open, gets a strike, another open. Compare that to Johnstone, who's been able to string some marks together. Little bounce again.
Yeah, I got rid of that one awfully early. Looks like his timing was just a little bit out. Man, a difference in this match. Of course, Aaron's had 2 head pins in his first 7 frames, and then that chop off in the middle in frame 4 in between strikes. So he's really cut the game off. Good spare coming back though, keeps the game alive. He's in a pretty big hole. He's going to have to get some strikes in a row in order to get back in this match. That's the ball he'll want to keep, the one he just threw at the spare. He got really good reaction. A little bit of a bounce again, but this time it crossed over. Left-hand pocket gets the strike.
Saw his dad, Jack, there, who is his coach. How much coaching can be done on these events? Just curious about that. Could he pull him aside and give him a little word? Oh, man, he is right there. Maybe a little word of encouragement, but maybe just something, hey.
It'll be quick, little subtle reminders.
Sure.
You know, watch your feet speed, target focus. Not very much. You're not going to make major adjustments at this point in the match.
Another string of 3 in a row for Johnstone in 6, 7, and 8.
Mark doesn't seem to matter. Either the left or the right hand pocket, he's getting great reaction. He's playing straight up the boards right in the middle of the lane. So if one breaks, doesn't break, he's still got a chance to get the head pin and get strikes.
Another again. Oh my! Again got away with the stumble at the line, and then he did get the pull on that right corner.
But he's throwing the ball. He's great location. He's right, like I said, he's right up over the center arrow. Both pockets are working really well for him. Fair bit of speed. Must have. Aaron really had to be able to strike out here in the 9th and 10th frames to put any kind of pressure back on Mark. Now he's only left himself with a possible 256. Aaron cruising along. He's got 237 in the 7th plus 2 strikes working. He's got a possible 372.
So Johnstone is going to move on here. Just a more consistent game by the Edmonton bowler.
Aaron just hasn't really looked comfortable at the foul line. He's made a couple of slips that have seemed to throw him off. He's been fairly consistent on the head pin. That's actually his first miss of the game, but 2 head pin punches in the 1st and 6th.
Just not his day. And then again, we point out it's just so different than tournament play. You'd be able to, as a psychologist, sports psychologist, say you park this one and you go on to the next game. But there is no next game here for Aaron Alblas. as he will bowl a 211. And now we'll watch Mark Johnstone finish out. Now Johnstone has a potential of a 372, and if he strikes out, that would be a record score. Al Paquette of Timmins bowled a 365 in 2007.
And for Mark, this is all about getting ready for the next match. Make good shots. Keep your focus. That's the first time he's missed the head pin this game.
You're wondering what the record score in the old Pins game was. It was a good friend of ours, Joe Cranabetter. Remember Joe? 395. Joe from Tofino, BC. He bowled that back in 2003. So Mark Johnstone, the reigning National Open champion, bowls a very impressive 312. And he'll advance to the quarterfinals, while Aaron Alblas of Winnipeg will take home $250. It's week 2, men's 5-pin play here on TSN. Game 2 of this second week features Bobby Torraville of Toronto, Stephen Porter of Regina. And Torraville with the only mark so far, the strike in the first, and Porter with a little tough start, a 15 and a 7.
Crossover. Second strike for Bobby Torraville. Two of them on the left-hand lane. Just a little bit of movement back towards the pocket, left-hand side.
Stephen Peter, he studies psychology at the University of Regina. So as Peter picks a pair of pins.
Got to be careful that your speed doesn't affect your accuracy, and it almost looks like Stephen's trying to throw the ball too hard. See, just at the bottom of the swing, he really accelerates. Good spare.
Now compare his delivery to others that we've seen. It's because, and the reason I bring this up is, watch the way he angles his body. You see? Now, is there anything wrong with that? Is there more things that could go wrong with that as compared to more up and down?
I mean, it's nothing different than a golf swing you look at and go, how can you hit the ball?
Okay.
Bowling's exactly the same way.
As long as your release point's the same, right?
Absolutely. He's been bowling for 17 years, and that sideways shift of his body helps him get his shoulder down low to the ground, get the ball out on the lane.
Bobby Torraville works for Guardian Industries in Toronto. As he says, he's a jack of all trades for Guardian. Crossed over, gave it a tap, but that right corner won't go.
Looking for a string pull on that one. A little bit of a hook crossed over. 3-pin just missing the top of that right corner pin. Perfect. As soon as it crossed the arrows, he knew he had the spare. Bobby Torraville with a lead in the match through 4 frames, but Stephen Peter with a strike in 4 and an opportunity to get back in the match. A little bit of a bonus for the spare in the 4th for Bobby. Chop off and takes out the left 2-pin with it. this up on the replay. Nice finish at the foul line. Ball starts to cross over. The head pin drove straight back and looked like it caught the backside of that left corner pin.
But by comparison, when you look at him, and he's, you know, more up and down, and of course, it's almost silent as well as it hits the floor.
Different approach style, different body styles. Bobby's a little smoother to the foul line. 2 very short steps and then a long slide that help him get down nice and low to the foul line.
Those back-to-back spares. Nice game so far for Bobby Torraville out of Toronto. Just had the open in the second. A couple of strikes, a couple of spares. Stephen Porter has managed to find his game. He had that 15, that 7, and now a spare and a strike up in 4 as he bowls the 5th.
Make the adjustments, get more comfortable. Took him 3 frames, but he's made now 2 good shots in a row.
Tried to squirt the 3 over, but just wouldn't go.
Again, the speed Stephen throws, he's got to be absolutely perfect where he lays the ball down, because there's not much movement on it.
So you can see it's 97-82. That's the difference. Both bowlers with spares up as we play in the 6th.
Big explosion. We've seen that before. That's a Mark Van Dale kind of shot. On the nose, but the speed and the rotation just breaks up this big split. Both 3 pins taking out the corner pins. Smooth.
That may have been a bad break.
It was a good looking shot. It might have been a little bit thick. You could see the 3 pin actually go in front of this corner pin. And that's kind of a typical reaction. Head pin back, he just catches almost the back side of the 3 pin and it pushes it sideways into the channel. Whoops. Second open frame of the match for Bobby. The first one back in the second frame was on a head pin. This one in the 6th on an error, missing this left corner spare. 2 in a row on the inside.
And that hurts. She had a nice little run going with a strike, spare, and now the open to leave him at 138 through 6. And by comparison, look at what Stephen Peter has done since those 2 opens in 1 and 2.
Don't force it. Good comeback after missing that left corner pin spare. Great ball into the right-hand pocket. Now Stephen, see if he can double up and take a big lead in this match. Started to look more comfortable the last couple of frames here. Started with the first 3 frames. He only hit the head pin once, and that was a punch. Since then, he's come back with 2 strikes and a right corner spare.
Peter out of the Bolorama Lanes Golden Mile Bowl in Regina. And boom.
Very smooth for a big guy. Throws the ball hard, but doesn't really look like he's putting, sort of overextending it. He's not trying to throw it hard. It's just size and arm swing that are really moving the ball. Third time he's missed the middle. All three he's missed to the left. On the inside for the spare.
But he's got some pin count going now, and he has taken the lead. Bobby Torraville with a strike up in 7. Both these golfers graduates of the youth bowling. Oh, did I say golfers? Sorry.
Yes, both graduates of the YBC program. Great shot from Bobby Torraville in a really crucial spot in this match. 8th frame gives him a double, gives him the lead in the match. Little hook into the right-hand pocket.
You know, when I make mistakes like that, you don't have to hit me so hard, okay? Just could have said Vic, you said golf, but you decided to club me.
Club you?
Yes, that's
there you
right.
go
There
again.
you go. Nice. Oh. Good bounce back for Bobby Torraville, though.
And it looked like he set it down early. The ball just never reacted. It was right, and it was right all the way, right to the pins. Never came back to the pocket.
Is it fair to say when you, no, maybe not, but in this case,
Ouch.
in a case like that, when you go left, are you overthrowing it? And if you go right, are you underthrowing it?
Can be a bunch of different reasons. If you throw the ball slow and you miss your mark, then that's one thing. But if you hit your mark and change speeds, depending on how much you hook it or back it up, the ball will change, right? So it's all about being consistent in release and in speed. Otherwise, you can't tell what's going on.
Well, the 15 in the 9th as we welcome his parents to Calgary. Leaves him at 216. That's a bad spot, though. You know, that 9th, that foundation frame, as many call it, because it breaks off the 2-strike run he had.
Certainly now it puts it all in Stephen Peters' lane to finish this off. 9th and 10th frame. He's got a possible 297. First one, that's huge.
And he takes the advantage through 8. He's up by 6 pins through 8. And again, you think, look at that. There were 2 opens and what he's done since then.
Got over the nerves maybe, made a little bit of an adjustment. Since that 2nd frame, he's throwing the ball really well. Right corner spare, chop off here, and he'll shut Bobby Torraville out. Bobby's still got a possible 261. And this is a must spare for Stephen Peter. Right on it. Second right corner spare of the match, and absolutely critical. Quick glance at the scoreboard, he'll know exactly what he needs. Chop off, corner pin, or strike to win the match for Stephen Peter.
And that'll do it. Stephen Peter closes out Bobby Torraville. He bowls a 267. His league average in Regina is 245, and that's a terrific comeback, as we say. The first a 15 open and then a 7 in the 2nd frame, and he marked all the way out.
Bobby, just a couple of mistakes maybe early on. Sixth frame, missed a left corner, but the real big one was missing in the ninth frame, wide open. Didn't put any pressure back on Stephen Peter. This young man will be back, though. We'll see more of him.
Well, he's a two-time national champion in both youth team and men's team play. And he closes it out nicely with the strike to bowl a 246, Bobby Torraville. But it is Stephen Peter of Regina who will move on, and he'll face Mark Johnstone of Edmonton to see who becomes our second semi-finalist here on the second week of the men's 5-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championships. The winner will become our second semi-finalist in men's 5-pin play. Mark Johnstone is from Edmonton, Stephen Peter from Regina. Peter with a couple of opens to start for a 30 count, while Johnstone had the 15 and now has a strike up in 2 as we play in the third. It'll be Mark Johnstone of Edmonton or Stephen Peter of Regina. One of them will become our second semi-finalist. Peter with 2 opens, a 15 and a 15, so he got all the wood. Johnstone had the open, but has followed up with a strike as we play here in 3. And again, a little bit off balance. We saw that a couple of times in his first game when he bowled a 312 and managed to get away with it.
And the approaches have been causing a little bit of problems for all of our players. And we saw a little bit of it in the ladies as well. And that, where you hit the foul line, if you're not stable, it's absolutely critical to arm swing, to timing, to everything. That's one thing with all of the new equipment out there. The shoes are one of the most important. You've got the ability to change the sliders and the heels now. So you make sure that no matter what center you're in, you slide exactly the same way every time.
So just the 12 count for Johnstone, who is the current National Open champion. So missed opportunity for him to build on the strike in 2, and now Stephen Peter. There it is. That'll be better for him. He's been all around the head pin, got his 2 opens, and now follows up with a strike in 3.
Same kind of thing as the first game. Opened the first 2 and then comes back strong. There's a great shot. Left-hand pocket. Bowling ball straight through the middle, so the 3 pins collapse on the outside and take out the corner pins. Overthrew that one, pushed it way left. Good cover though. Spare takes advantage of the strike in the third and gets the big count.
Johnstone in that preliminary win bowled a 312. He just had the 1 open frame. That was in the 4th.
Plus the big thing in that game was the string of strikes. He started with 3, a couple of mistakes or opens, and then finished with 4 in a row in 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we know he's got the ability to run strikes if he gets locked in.
Right now it's a 6-pin advantage for Stephen Peter through 3, and Johnstone with the open in the third. Well, he just seems more relaxed. And as we said, I mean, he studies psychology at the University of Regina, and you would think that if anybody's going to be able to deal with the head games in the game, it would be him.
Well, and 267 and a win in your first appearance on TV will help relax things a little bit. Great shot and a string pull on the left corner pin for Mark Johnstone. Right hand pocket, 3-pin wraps around the string. Second set of aces in this men's event.
Isn't that the second for him? Didn't he have the first one? No, who had the other set of aces? Was that in the week one?
That was, yes, in week one. See, big long slide to finish at the foul line. He's kind of slipping a little bit here. That set of aces was Dave Gurley from Cranbrook.
That's right. It is curious. We didn't have any aces in the women's play, and now we've seen 2 in 2 weeks.
And that can sometimes be a function of the speed that the guys throw the ball at, because it's so quick and they're blowing everything back, whereas the ladies, a little bit slower, a little bit more rotation on the ball. They keep the pins lower and on the pin deck. Yep. Right on the mark, left hand pocket, a little bit of a sweeper. Great reaction. 3-pin slides over and takes out the right corner pin.
Now we'll remind you what he did, of course. As Bill mentioned, he had those 2 open frames against Bobby Torraville and then strung together a bunch of strikes, spares. He marked all the way out. And so here again, as we play in 6, he's looking for a 4th straight mark.
Right corner pin here in the 6th frame. He was 2 for 2 in the first match. Cross lane and hard. Right on it.
So stretching the lead a little bit, taking advantage of Johnstone and the open frames. And so Mark now will try to get something going again in 6.
And one thing we know is Stephen Peters not going to relax, even with a little bit of a lead. He's watched Mark Johnstone. He knows he can throw a bunch of strikes. This game's far from over. And there's the first one on a thick hit that carries. Good extension, good follow through. Thick left hand pocket, little bit of a backup.
His first championship, as you saw there, was in 2003. He is the reigning men's Canadian Open champion.
One more left hand pocket that time.
That sends a message to Stephen Peter. Don't get ahead of yourself here.
Oh, there can't be any relaxing from Stephen Peter. He's got to focus, concentrate. Still got a slight lead in this match, 120 in the 5th with a spare in 6. But Mark Johnstone coming on strong. 2 in a row in 6 and 7. Second head pin of the match for Stephen Peter.
The gentleman with Mark is Robert Gallagher, and he's from Stettler, Alberta. He's the owner of the Heartland Bowl. Good friend.
And coached Mark as a young guy in Wetaskiwin. Another 5 pins left on the pin deck for Stephen Peter.
Not the time to do it. Not the time to do it. Look above you. You'll see Johnstone with the 2 strikes. Bad time for Peter.
Never a good time, but especially in a tight match when your opponent's got to double up. Almost another looked like overthrow. Trying to make up accuracy for speed, and you can't do that. When Stephen's throwing the ball well, he throws it hard, but it's under control. 2 in a row. Miss left, miss right.
So he'll get the 15 count, but that's back-to-back opens for a 165 through 8. And now Mark Johnstone steps up and really has a chance to put some distance between himself and Peter, has 2 strikes up as he plays 8.
And a possible 322 remaining for Mark Johnstone.
And he bowled a 312 in the first. And it was that big finish, remember?
One more nail. All about focus. Great shot. Left hand pocket, little backup. Not much chance that was going to be anything but a strike. Oh, he knew that one was going to be close. Got it inside just a little bit. It's the chop off. Right side. Second chop off of the match. And see the ball started to cross over. Just didn't get far enough to go opposite side and get a strike. Look out. 2 chop offs, 2 misses. And once more, the door is open. Stephen Peter with a chance for 255 if he can strike out.
That's a big break for Peter as the open frame, the 15 count, comes in the 9th. A crucial frame always. So it's 224 with the open for Johnstone, and now Peter, as Bill mentions, strikes out, could roll a 255.
He can't shut Mark Johnstone out, but if he can finish with 4 in a row in that 255, no, missed the middle.
Put some pressure on it if he could have.
Well, now, absolutely critical. Must have spare and 3 in a row in the 10th. Finish with 240. Oops. 2 big errors here in 8 and 9. Miss the middle on your first ball and fail to convert the spare.
So he gets the open, isn't that? That's down the stretch. 3 open frames at 10, 15, and 15. Just the worst possible time.
Well, the head pin happens. It's really the missing the middle in the 8th and the 9th, and then failing to convert for spares.
Now he needs strikes, and he's going to get it. Going to get it. He needs all 3, and even at that, the best he can do is 225, and right now Johnstone sits at 224. And the win will go to Mark Johnstone. He will advance. Stephen Peter will take home the $1,000 as he receives congratulations from his coach. Stephen Peter out of Regina will go back to the University of Regina with $1,000.
And a good experience. Talking
Absolutely.
about the young guys, another one that will be back. Johnson deadly accurate. He was 9 for 10 in the first game for a .312. So far here he's 10 for 10. Hasn't missed the middle this game. 2 headpins. No, just 1 headpin. Set of aces.
Boy, he's a streaky player.
Well, streaky in that he can run a lot of strikes, but that's a good thing. Had 3 in a row in this match in 6, 7, and 8. Now with a chance for another 3-bagger here in the 10th. Finish with 269.
Which would be just shy of his league average of 270. And he'll just fall a little wide left for a 259. Mark Johnstone of Edmonton will move on as he becomes our second semifinalist. Men's 5-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championships on TSN.